owner of the AWF, Cost Superstar, 11-time tag team champion of the world. This egotistical bastard is ready to shoot the shit as Shawn Walsh presents The Shawn Walsh Show, where there is no holds barred.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the also controversial Shawn Walsh Show. We are here back and making people talk as always. Ladies and gentlemen, last week I really enjoyed last week's episode, but I really love the backlash, the aftermath of last week's episode. Of course, last week's episode was with D-Wall of DCA, and we had a very fun conversation. We talked about women's call wrestling and its importance, because there's a lot of people who don't necessarily like women's call wrestling, some that don't have women's call wrestling, so it was nice for a different perspective on it. However, what a lot of people are talking about is not what the DCA talk was, or DCA being interested in stars such as Brock Manson and Ben Hitman and myself. You have to stay tuned to. Doesn't necessarily mean too much, but just stay tuned. But a lot of people had a lot to talk about DCA revelations and the little rants that myself and others went on about certain people on a certain site known as callwikia.com. And I am going to address that. I'm going to address that a little bit more. I'm going to personally address the comment by Brent Harvinator on part 2 of this week's Shawn Walsh Show. As it turns out, we got we got added an additional episode for the season. Wink, wink. Because my episode with Andrew, aka Fisk, is a little lengthy, so I decided to split that up for you guys, make it a little bit easier for you guys to listen to. So therefore, there's going to be 2 episodes this week. Maybe that's a little bonus gift for being out a little bit later, and I do apologize for that. Not unfortunately, because I've been busy. You know, you guys have your lives too, so I'm sure you understand. I would hope you do have a life and understand. I've been very busy, especially these last 2 days, whether it be working on some things or just not being home and out with friends, and I wouldn't get back home till very late at night. That's why the episode has been on a bit of a delay. Originally, it was going to be 1 episode with the full thing with Andrew, and then me and Jay. There's a little spoiler there. Me and Jay Crack are going to record the intro, which is what you listen to, Shawn Walsh Show. However, we haven't really worked it out due to my schedule and such. So that will air in the beginning of part 2 of the Shawn Walsh Show, where me and Jay Crack will talk about Brent Harvinator. We will talk about his very lengthy response that he gracefully left in the comments section of the video. I know Jay has some very interesting things to say about Mr. Harvinator, and that should be very interesting. If you know Jay, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to give a little bit of an address on that now. I'm going to save a little bit more for that on part 2, but I'm going to give you guys a little bit now. You know, Brent Harvinator, it's no secret that me and him don't exactly like each other. And I think that's ever so more true now that this happened. And, maybe Brent didn't like some of the things I had to say. Maybe he didn't like that I listened to D-Wall and I gave D-Wall the chance, and that I took those little rants on Call Wikia and such like that. Because Brent is a very, very prominent member on the Call Wikia website. I already knew this, and I did some confirmation a little bit earlier today to check and do so. It's funny, you can't really do anything to Brent Harvinator stuff, but you can do it to just about anyone else's. It's a little odd, isn't it? His is protected, but almost everyone else's isn't. And how do I know this? How do I know that all these accounts, all these pages are so easy to be edited and not protected like Mr. Harvinator's account and his pages on callwikia.com? That is because there was a time that I used callwikia.com, as I pointed to in last week's episode. As you all know, I do not use callwikia.com anymore. I made some pages on callwikia.com, some of which have been deleted. I wonder why. I go and make an AWF Carnage 2011 page, and that gets deleted. Why? I don't know. I go make a page for Tattoo Taker, but that gets deleted. Why? I don't know. I remember that it was specifically deleted by someone. I don't remember who did that, so I'm not going to throw the blame on anyone because I do not remember who did that. Maybe if I see it some other time, I'll mention that, but I don't want to throw any false accusations out there. I will, however, throw some truth out there, as there is an account on CallWikia, which is the Ben Hitman account, and as many of you probably know, Ben Hitman is a top superstar of the American Wrestling Federation, my call show. He's the World Heavyweight Champion currently in the AWF, and obviously, years ago, I decided to make a CallWikia for Ben Hitman. I have his back history and everything. And since 2011 till now, many of people have gone out of their way to make their edits to Ben Hitman's account. They've added stuff that he apparently passed away in September of 2011, only to be resurrected. Not even, I think about a week or so later, something like that. I'm not looking up the page right now, so I can't give you the exact one. I think it was September 20th, 2011, if I remember from earlier today. That's when he was apparently resurrected. Something was added about him being he was being assaulted by drag queens at a Dairy Queen or something like that. Things were touched and whatever. And I have since over the years tried to delete it. It would be added back. It's funny. CallWikia is a Wikipedia website, therefore you can edit people's entries unless it is protected, which the Ben Hitman account is not a protected account. However, with that, you can see exactly who made the edits to the page at any time, and specifically what they edited. It's a great tool. Great tool. If you have your page that's edited, you can go check that. People's IP addresses are on there, or if they have a CallWiki account, guess what? It links it right to there. And who do I see quite a few times on here? Now, my account, you can see, is on there. If you go and look, there's AWF 102. Yes, I know, it's not 105 like it traditionally is. There was a whole thing of a bobber, so I had to go use that account name. Whatever. Regardless, that's me. So you'll see quite a few of me, and I add things like championship accomplishments, updating things, and all that good stuff. However, you see Brent Harvenator's name is on here. Even dating back to 2011. There's 2011, a Brent Harvenator contribution. I see contributions by Derek the V Extreme around Christmas time of 2013, around Christmas Eve. I guess he decided to go make the edit. I don't know. Maybe he felt like being a dick. One name that appears to be here a lot is a lady by the name of Amy Levine something. I don't know. I would apologize for the mispronunciation of your name, but I really don't apologize because you're a bitch. And I know who you are because if you click that account name, you will see exactly who that is, and that is Burb. Now, you may be wondering, if you're not familiar with Burb, who in the hell is Burb? Well, Burb is the owner of New WWE. Burb, unless you're in the little Call Wikia clique, shall we say, isn't exactly very well loved by the Call community. First of all, because she is a bitch. That's first and foremost. She's not a nice person. She's done nothing but bad things to Call wrestling. That's first and foremost. Oh yeah, I like how there's things on there on Call Wikia, how it's like unoriginal. Yet what is her show is New WWE, which about 95% of the roster is WWE. Yes, folks, believe it or not, Burb to this day is still making New WWE. Now, Burb, I'm not trying to say there's an expiration date as to when you should stop, but you've been doing this for a long time, and I happened to look at your account today, and it seems nobody fucking cares anymore about Burb. The viewership on New WWE has quite sunk in recent times. There was a time where New WWE was actually getting decent amount of viewership, but now no one seems to care, and it seems the people that Burb, or at least the kind of people that Burb didn't like, and that Burb would go and put weird things on their Call Wikia. You know, Burb, you're some freaky little bitch for the shit you put on Call Wikia. I really, 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 really wonder what the fuck you have going on up in your head, cause it's freaky. But that's besides the point. My show, the AWF, is a prime example of some of the Call shows that she went after and try to maybe make herself laugh, maybe make some other people laugh, or I don't know, maybe she's that sick to go and edit these pages. And Burb, my show gets more views than you. Now, I'm not saying that as, oh shit, look how great my show is, even though it's pretty great, because I'm not normally one to do that. However, Burb, I don't care about you. And the little power you do have left on that Call Wikia website, I see that you use it. And you've been using it for years. I see all the shit you edit, because it's a Wikipedia page. Anyone can see it. So, Burb, get the fuck off of my pages. Get the fuck off of everyone else's page and leave everyone the fuck alone. You're nothing. You're absolutely nothing anymore. You made Collision a joke. You know, go look on the Collision Call Wikia pages and you will see it right there how she made Collision a joke. Collision 1 and 2 were actually good shows. But then she decided to go fuck it all up for 3 to, I think it's 7 was the last one, and put all stupid shit on there, and deal with forum beef? Really? That's on Collision? Not these dream matches, these fantasy matches, these all-star matches, if you will. But stupid little shit, just because you thought it was funny, you added it on there. I know for me, I didn't find it funny. I also didn't find it funny when stupid assholes like yourself would kick out people who were not at a certain standard and would not be part of Collision. So, we couldn't be a part of that. But that's okay, Burb, that's okay. And that's okay, and that's not just directed towards you, that's directed to any other asshole who did the same exact thing back in 2009 with all that shit. Because good friend of mine, Steven, Firewing Zero, he created this thing called Call All Stars. And I don't know if you've heard Burb, I don't know if you've heard Collision, we'll say committee, because I don't want to go and falsely accuse anyone who did not do this. However, look what Call All Stars has become. Collision isn't even a thing anymore. It's become a joke. It's been a joke in these last how many Collisions that have happened from years past. Call All Stars has taken by storm. You and others sat back and laughed because we were these little call shows who bounded together and tried to create something, and you thought it was a joke. You thought it was sad. You were the kind of people that trashed it. But what the fuck happened? It became bigger than Collision. It became a thing that any kind of call show can be part of. It doesn't matter if you do fantasy call wrestling. It doesn't matter if you do original wrestling. It doesn't matter if you do shoot wrestling. It doesn't matter if your name is SMF or COH or ICCW or fucking AWF, DIW, GCW, ECF, NJCW. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you made your debut back in 2006 or if you made your debut just 6 days ago. If you can give a quality product and you can give the full support to Call All Stars, we welcome you on board. And that is why we are still running. That is why we, as part of the Call All Stars family, because we don't treat people in our realm like shit. We don't find that shit funny. So Burb, do yourself a favor, do everyone a favor, and please just knock it the fuck off. It's not 2009 anymore. It's 2015. Move the fuck on. And if anyone here doesn't like what I have to say and thinks, oh, but I like new WWE, I like Burb. Well, I don't fucking care. I don't know if any of you noticed that by now, but I don't give a rat's ass. And you can go tell Burb I said all this. I hope she listens. And Burb, I dare you, go say something. Go, you go and say your shit on Call Wiki and go to people's pages. Why the fuck don't you just go to the comments and you go give me a response? If you have, well, you don't have the balls, but if you have the guts, shall we? You want to come on the Shawn Walsh show? You want to talk this out? You want to go? I'm all for it. I don't have to like you to be on this show. That applies to you, Burb, and that also applies to Brent Harvenator, who I have recently, the other day, messaged on Facebook about a possible appearance on the Shawn Walsh show to address DCA revelations and other kinds of accusations that have been thrown his way. I have yet to receive a response from Brent Harvenator, and Brent, I understand that sometimes these messages don't exactly get to you right away, and that's okay, because I'm sending out the invitation right now on the air. I dare you. You gave me that nice little chapter right there in the comments. You want to clear your name? You want to go talk about revelations? You want to give your side of the story? Because, as much as I don't like you, Brent, and I think I made that pretty clear. I fully understand that there are two sides to the story. I didn't necessarily take D-Wall's side. I just gave him a chance to present his side of the story. If you would like to present your side of the story, well then go ahead. I've recently come in contact with another call wrestler by the name of Evan O'Shea, who's contacted me on Skype about an appearance on the Shawn Walsh show. So, he is going to talk about his side of the story when it comes to DC Revelations, and that should be an interesting thing come season 2 of the Shawn Walsh show. But the same applies to you, Brent Harvenator. And Brent Harvenator, you know, I was going to keep this all in my my frustration for you and my dislike for you. I was going to keep it as past tense and state it as that's the past. It doesn't matter anymore. It's whatever. We've all moved forward. That was until I saw the petty little shit that you did on Call Wikia. You know, I saw on Monday, July 6th, which is after, by the way, that the Shawn Walsh show with D-Wall came out. By the way, just throwing it out there, Mr. Brent Harvenator decided to go on to the Ben Hitman Call Wikia page and edit the page. He, in fact, removed links. Now, I looked to see what he removed. He removed the YouTube links to the accounts that you could have seen Ben Hitman back when I edited the page in 2011. It's funny, Brent. I really don't care because, first of all, I don't edit that page anymore. As you can see, where the page last edited and what's on the page. And the pages you deleted, that's fine. Some of them, Ben Hitman isn't even the show anymore. Some of them. Shit, the call shows don't exist anymore. And then the one, AWF isn't even on that page anymore. So Brent, maybe you did me a favor, but I wasn't even going to touch the page anyway. But it was nice to see the petty little shit that you do, because I really don't care. Like, oh, you edited a Call Wiki page. If you go look, and a lot of people edited Ben Hitman's Call Wikia. But it's the fact of when you did it. You did it right after the Shawn Walsh show. You felt so, I guess, angry and like, oh, I'm going to get back and I'm going to edit his page and remove his links. Come on. Really, dude? That's how you're going to play this shit? You're going to do it like that? That's absolutely pathetic. It really is. Now, I don't know, I'm getting a little hot here, getting a little riled up, a little rant mode, so I'm going to say this right now because I was going to be respectful to some of the individuals, but after the events that I learned today, I'm throwing that out the window. Brent Harvenator, you can't see me right now because this is just audio, but middle fingers up, buddy, you can go fuck yourself. Burb, same shit goes to you, you freaky little ass. Whoever the fuck Tony Treen, featuring whoever the fuck that was, I don't even remember. You can go fuck yourself too. Go touch, you going to do stupid shit on those pages, acting like you got all this power in the fucking world. Well, you know what? Fuck off, because you're not relevant anymore. No one cares. But, you want another shot of relevancy? You want people to actually give a damn for just maybe a couple of hours? To all, I do extend my invitation to come on the Shawn Walsh show. We can have a little peaceful talk, or we can have a little verbal debate, a little verbal war of sorts. If that's the way you want to play, I don't really care. Ball's in your corner. That goes to all of you. But I'm going to end my little rant for right now. I'm going to send it off to my interview with my very good friend, Andrew, aka Fisk, So, let's go send it off.
Or commentate with me or something. I haven't been on commentary for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, have that whole exposure, that whole promotion thing for these other leagues.
Well, that's, I'd say, about enough talking about Brent Harbonator. I'd like to thank my earlier pre-recorded self for sending it to the Shawn Walsh Show with my special guest today, that being the former COH Pride champion, the man who was formerly undefeated before he got sat on, that being Fisk, a.k.a. Andrew. So, Andrew, welcome to the Shawn Walsh Show.
I held that belt for 10 months and I lost it to being sat on.
I find that funny.
Tears.
Almost as funny as Lester Barkley falling off a ladder onto Caleb Blair. And if you watch Guerrilla Warfare, well, you know what I'm talking about. And if you didn't see it yet, too bad. Spoiled it for you. I really don't care. I spoiled it for Andrew earlier.
Fall on people.
Huh?
Lester likes to fall on people.
He does. He likes to use his weight against people.
Oh.
All the power to him. Maybe they just didn't want to watch CyberSlam, so they're not going to be able to watch anything else. So,
Sonny, can that be your new gimmick where like you fall on people? Like the klutz Lester Barkley?
I'm all for that as long as he doesn't
get over
fall
with
me.
the kiddies.
What? Do kids like to fall on people?
Well, they like people that trip and fall and hurt themselves. They get a laugh out of it.
That's true. That is
Slapstick Barkley.
Slapstick Barkley. That's an interesting one. Well, this has been a long time coming. We've been talking about getting you on the Shawn Walsh Show for a while now.
It took about a damn year to get this interview ready.
About so, maybe a few months, but due to scheduling conflict, shall we say, or conversations going and not being brought up. We're finally going to get it done. We're going to talk about all the stuff you guys want to talk about. We're going to talk about your fan-submitted questions. But we'll get to that a little bit later on. So, Andrew, let me give you the prototype question. Question number 1 that I ask everyone is, how did you get into call wrestling? What is the first call show that you ever saw?
Now, I know you like to talk about the young cats on here that, started watching. Yeah, that started watching rather recently. And I'd love to say that I was one of those guys where I watched, the SMFs, the ECWs, the DWFs, but, that wasn't me.
You're one of those
My first show, I'm pretty sure, was in, late 2011. And I'm 90% sure it was CWS.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time I was subscribed to Nate's YouTube channel. And I remember he linked the CWS channel. I was like, what the hell is this? And I clicked on it. I was like, this looks fucking dumb. But I watched an episode, and I was like, this is actually really cool. And then from then on, I watched FTC, COH, all that good stuff. Especially like AWF, DZ Dubs. And it led to me opening up my own show before I even got into any shows. And then in around 2013, I started being a call wrestler. And it's been like that ever since.
Alright. So, classic example of one of the rooks, as I call them. But that's okay. It's not a bad thing. You're not from my age. It's funny, because we're the same age, but I always, and you can attest to this, I always speak on my age as if it's at a complete different era.
It was 8 months, though. It's not even that. It's such a difference.
Well, I mean, it's better than you. You got the math wrong one time.
I did. But, that's for a different podcast.
Yeah, the roast of Fisk.
That's coming next season, kids.
Oh, that's a fun one. But in our age, we're 8 months or however months it is. But I speak on because I came and started doing call much earlier. You started in 2011. I started in I watched in 2007, and I came on here in 2009. And really, it's a matter of a couple years, but call changes a lot. So it's so different. Even from say a call from 2011, from when you watch, to when someone who's watching in 2015, it's completely different. But what is today started from when you watch was the CWS, was the COHs, YWFs, and such. So you got involved with Caw, and what did you think of how Caw was? Because when you started watching it, it was this new shoot style of Caw wrestling, which was starting to grow at that time with CWS and COH and such. What did you think of the idea of that? My look on it is probably much different from yours. So what was your look, seeing all these people having their own character?
I thought it was cool because really when you said this was really the start of the shoot cause stuff, so a lot of the people in, those type of shows I recognized from the YWC when they used to make videos on there.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, that's whoever doing a character. I'm like, this is really cool. And eventually I got past that and I just started liking the matches and the storylines and, the editing that goes into the shows, and just really made me want to start my own show. And it was that really drew my attention. And I always liked those shows where it was a mix of, the shoot style and the original style, which is what, yours is, what mine is, AJ's. Even CWS, in a way, was kind of a mix. Because he'd have,
Nate had his own.
He'd have Vaughn and you guys and, all those guys, but then he'd have, the Neath Hittens, the Benzinos, where they were his characters. So I always really liked that.
Yeah, me too. It took me a little time to adjust, because an old-timer like me,
Oh. Growing the beard, literally, not figuratively.
Yes, I did. I recently shaped up on it a couple days ago, but it's still there. So, with that, you watched in 2011, and correct me if I'm wrong, ECF started in 2012, right?
ECF did start in 2012, yeah, in August.
Ooh, man, so it was actually a while before you started with ECF, from when you
started.
Well,
I had the plans. I knew I was going to make my show in about May.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going through issues and, finalizing my roster and stuff, so the first show didn't launch until August. I think I actually had my infamous website, which, for those of you who don't know, I update that thing,
too much?
Yeah, way too fucking much. I think the thing was up before my show even started.
Damn.
Website. Because I modeled it really after, I think, DWF's website.
Which I modeled mine after.
And then I think I got some influence from yours, too.
Yes, you did.
But, when I first started it, it was everything was just, crammed and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, there are some things that I've been poked fun of at that I put when I was a young rook.
You're still a young rook.
Well, yeah, but, a younger one that I recently removed from the website.
Oh, and we'll talk about those.
We will, when we get to, ECF in detail.
Mm-hmm. Now,
we can get into that.
It took a while, but don't feel so bad. I had the first idea to start AWF in about, spring, summer 2008, and I didn't put out, the first ever part, and I can't say footage because my first thing wasn't an episode, it was a part on a camera until about May or June of 2009. So it took me a while as well. So you started with ECF. Was it from the beginning? Was the get-go ECF? Was that the name you were going with? The format you were going with was Extreme Call Federation?
I believe it was always like that. Now, originally, and I don't think I've told you this, but there were some people on the original ECF roster where it was kind of in a way like Adam's Fed right now, because I had plans to have Venom on there and Spider-Man and shit, but I scrapped that immediately. That was in plans for a week, and I was like, I can't find these cause on Community Creations. Guess I'm not doing that.
You could probably find them now.
Yeah, probably, but I don't know. WWE 12 servers were the absolute fucking worst.
Oh yeah.
So you'd search for 5 minutes and it'd be you can't find shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a rage quit worthy experience. I think the first call I ever made it wasn't, someone you think. I think it was actually the Shadow.
It was it wasn't the Amazing Age. It was the Shadow.
Because I made the Shadow on SVR 2011 because I wanted to do one of those create a storyline series with that character. And that never happened, and I just ended up moving him into ECF. And a lot of the characters I have in that show were actually characters from this, like, I want to say backyard type of Fed that I used to have when I was like a little kid, when I was like 10, 11 years old.
Oh,
and I
had a backyard Fed, little Amazing AJ.
Unlike yours, that was never posted on the internet.
We'll see.
But yeah, characters like David Salmon was a character from there. A lot of the headhunters, I think, were... None of my main guys, really, though, were from that show. But a lot of my creations I had for a while. And The Amazing Age, I just thought, because it's like, I wanted that one guy where, I could play all these gimmicks in other Feds, but this would be the one that would be exclusive to ECF. Because I started this show before Fisk was even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I created we'll get into that later when we get to, me branching off into other Feds. But ECF, it started off, I had my first show, which I decided to make like a beginning type of CPV. And I'll look back on that, and it's a complete fucking disaster. It is.
I watched it a couple days ago.
Now, like, my entire first season, I did it where I had WWE guys in there. I wouldn't have, like, a John Cena or anyone like that. I wouldn't have really anyone current, but I'd have, like, ENC, DX, Undertaker, Brock. I had Punk in there for a bit, but that wasn't until later in that season.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, he left the WWE, so I was like... Actually, no, I brought him in when he was still in the company. But then I brought him back, when he left, because I was like, tears.
Yeah, tears in the beard.
And just, you watch that show, please don't. Like,
I
don't.
did.
It's terrible.
Oh, it's not that. No,
it
pretty
took...
bad.
My commentary's bad, because this was the first time I even attempted to do anything. And I think I would be like, whoa, well... I'd say, like, random wrestlers' quotes, and then I'd be like, wait a minute, hold on, I'm not supposed to say that. That's what The Rock says. Like, clearly I have no idea what I'm doing, and it shows. And I probably didn't get a good grasp. I think my first show that I can look back and actually watch part of it and not cringe to death was my second CPV. And then I didn't think
Was that Money in the Bank?
Yeah. But I can only really watch that for one moment. And, because it happened, and it was a major storyline for that entire first season. And a lot of the people that watch ECF now, I know for a fact, did not watch a good majority, if any, of the first season.
Yeah.
So, and I'm fine with that. But the thing is I'm trying to do right now where I can bring in all these guys. Like, I can bring in Cash, I can bring in Adam, I can bring in AJ and Jay, I can bring in, Nitro. Like, all these guys that are known from other shows, and they can be a big part of my show, but I still want my guys to have a big part, and I still want their storylines to be a big factor. I don't want them to be completely ignored because the more popular guys are coming in, because if you did that, you'd get a lot of shit for it. So...
Yeah.
But I think the time where I would make shows where I was confident, like, I could watch this and be like, I like this, was like probably mid to late 2013.
Okay.
Which was around the time of my Royal Rumble show. And this is when, I had the Fisk gimmick. And I brought in Rochambeau, who at the time was a good friend of mine, which I'll get into when we discuss ACW. It's like I'm pushing a lot of shit back.
Okay. It's okay.
But the end of season one I liked, and then my final show that season was my WrestleMania, and I look back on that and I really enjoy that show. It's lengthy, but I look back and I'm like, I like how a whole lot of the matches turned out, and I think the show was pretty good. And then this season, going into season 2, when I brought in a bunch of people, it started off rather rough because I was going through a problem where I was not adjusting well to all these new people coming in, and I didn't have room for my old people, and I didn't have enough room for everyone, and I was just kind of throwing people in random spots, and I was, I don't know what word I can use here. I was rather thrown off by the new people in there.
Right.
And, you know, I got some criticism for it, and I have done my best to take at least a good majority of that into consideration and have, changed my show for the better of it. People said that my show was too bright. I changed the arenas and the lighting.
Oh, yeah, thank God.
People said a lot of my cars are too bright. I changed a lot of people's attires. People said the commentary needs work. I've been doing a lot of color commentators in my shows, and I think that's really helped because now I can, if I need to commentate it solo, that's not my go-to thing, but I can do it and not think this is going to be complete shit.
Yeah.
And the person that told me that I'm not the best solo was Jay.
That was Jay.
And I actually have to thank him for that, because at the time I was pretty upset, like, okay, that's kind of a dick move. But, had I not known, I would have gotten some actual criticism from someone that wasn't a friend of mine and would have hurt even more.
They would have said something in a lot meaner. And you wouldn't have liked that. And by the way, since then, I know, because I've talked to Jay about it, Jay has felt bad because it was telling you that, because, I mean, you're better at it now, but there was at least at a time you were a lot more negative than you currently are, which you still are negative. But
I can't help that.
Yeah, I know. And you took it as like, oh, I suck. Oh, I'm terrible. Oh my God. And he felt bad because, you were upset about it, but, it worked out for the best.
So now, like, especially these last couple of shows, it's to the point where my show gets better literally every show I put out.
It does.
And
I can attest to that.
I'm getting feedback from it. Like, I think the 2 or 3 death rows in a row, I think I heard from either you or Adam that, like, oh, this is the best show you put out. And then Cash messaged me after I uploaded my last CPV.
Dawn of the Champions.
And he said, this was the best show you made, hands down. And I'm appreciating the feedback I'm getting. And my show is still a thing where people know about it, but a lot of people still don't watch it necessarily, and I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to get people to get interested in watching my show because, from the looks of it, it doesn't look, well, there is some uniqueness to it, but it doesn't look like anything that you wouldn't get in a DZW or an AWF or a COH. But I just want to, have a good enough product and a good enough storylines and a good enough characters where people will stay and continue to watch it. I'm bringing in a lot of people, and I'm working it out where, we're going to be rebooking some shit, but it's going to be much more smoother. It's going to be played out a lot better, and I'm really looking forward to the shit that is going to be coming out soon.
Oh, yeah,
because
it's going to happen over time. And, I know for you, because you talk about how it's gotten better as each episode was, and then even with Dawn of the Champions. I remember when I really started helping you out around after, because the first show I watched was WrestleMania in full, and I told you from there it was going to be over time. I think you wanted more quick results, and it's going to happen over time. And I think you're starting to see that now, that it's coming. It's just going to take some time. Like, the show is going to get better, as it has. The views will come in time. And hopefully this will help get people a little bit more aware of ECF, which, if you have not checked out ECF, you should.
There are going to be some rather popular names coming in soon, so look forward to that.
And the thing is, too, it's not just popular popular names work because they're good, but you got to bring in the right names for the right roles. And I know that's one thing that I've tried to make sure, because you can throw everyone on there. Well, guess what? You're COH 2.0. You don't want to be that.
CWG?
Yeah. CWG is a failure. CWG, it's a shameful COH 2.0. But yeah, but I think you've done a good job of giving people like roles and what they.
One thing that I'm really like about my show is you have these recognizable people, but for the most part, a lot of them are playing roles in which they aren't in other shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cash is a completely different gimmick from
Corey
COH.
Chambers.
Nitro plays
James.
Brandon James, who is basically just this stereotypical Australian wild enthusiast.
Yeah.
I love that fucking gimmick so much. AJ and Jay are a comedic tag team. That's great.
They're still
still
AJ.
They're still AJ Young and Jay Crack, but they're a team, and they're basically my version of Edge and Christian meets the Addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Adam basically being heel Phoenix without too much schizo.
Yeah,
but it's still in there.
He's got his crazy scoop slams taped.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then you're Sean Riley from the AWF,
which is completely different from Shawn Walsh.
So you get to be John Cena.
Oh, I love it, Superface.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what's coming, because I've been saying that this currently, like, my last show through what's coming is basically the start of a new era for my show. And you can tell, like, it's going to look different. It's going to feel different. I'm really looking forward to what's coming, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Yeah. Now,
and hopefully, if you want to join, you can hit me up on that the book face.
Hit up the DMs.
Yeah, slide into the DMs.
Yeah. Now, and we'll talk about all that and such. Now, early ECF with all that was there. And don't worry too much on the past, because most people.
Your show was shit when it first started too, so
I was gonna say, I wasn't gonna say it that way. See, I was here. I was gonna be nice and go, oh, don't feel so bad. It's rough in the beginning. And I was going to give you examples, AWF, and you're like, no, your show shit in the beginning, too.
Well, I've heard this from you about 8 dozen times, so, like...
Yes. Evan Rockville, when he made his debut, his music hit, and instead of me pondering why this music was playing, and then marking out when Rockville came out, I marked out immediately. I realized, shit, I should not do that. So I go, wait a minute, who's this? Is this The Rock? And he comes out, I'm like, that's not The Rock, that's Evan Rockville. As my voice was very, higher pitched at the time. So, huh?
Loosely.
So, it's not all that bad, and I've had Spider-Man was in some of my early shows, so don't worry about it.
Mine didn't make it to a ECF program. He only did them house shows.
He did some house shows, and that's a band term, live events.
Oh yeah.
So now with ECF, and you started to do it, and at first it wasn't where you ended up becoming, but you still yourself, you branched off to do other things, such as ECW with Justin Collins, correct?
Yes. ACW was really my first real cause show where I was actually on the show and did promos for it. And Collins gets a real bad rep from people because of how his tenure in this community ended, and it should, because SPW is a pile of dog shit. But yes, ACW, like, anyone that was really in that and had a good spot in it can say this, because I know David Ben says this a lot, but it was a absolute blast. Because that's where I started the Fisk gimmick, and that was the first show that really gave me a real push. And that was Justin was the first person that would really tell me, dude, these are some really good promos you're cutting. I really like your character. He was the first show to give me a championship.
Mm-hmm.
He was also the first show to give me a world title, which lasted a week, and then he rebooted his show, and then it got closed down. So, you know,
The
just my luck.
T of ACW.
Mm-hmm. And that was a blast. I remember, because there were a lot of characters. That's where Stu originated the Seth McInerney gimmick.
Yes.
And I remember I was in a 3-way feud with him and Rudo, who took my hardcore title from me, and that ended in a ladder match at the last CPV they had.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I loved the hell out of that feud. That was just fun, even though, you know, one of the people I was working with isn't necessarily the most popular guy in this industry.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of negative feedback, if you want to use that word.
Sure.
But, I mean, I think he actually was cutting promos in this show, like, if I remember correctly. And it really threw me off, because I was like, he sounds French, but isn't he supposed to be British? It really threw me off, but I enjoyed ACW quite a bit. And then he canceled that, and then that led to me coming into YWF, because what YWF did was, when ACW died because of backstage issues, you know?
Backstage issues.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it. But it died, and then Justin started his second show, IWA, but Marco, quote-unquote, bought ACW and made it his third brand. And, Marco, you're a great guy. YWF is a pretty good show, but I don't think you should have done that, because it only lasted about 3 episodes. We didn't even get to our first CPV, and then you just, like, scrapped it. And it just felt weird, because he really tried to do ECW in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to make it more of an extreme thing, where it really wasn't. Like, we had extreme matches, but it wasn't an extreme cough-fed.
So, like, he took
Marco was like, yeah, let's make it
put
ECW.
his vision on it.
Yeah, he put his vision on it, and then that's something YWF really does. You can have your ideas, but Marco's vision is, from what I've gathered, is really the Vince McMahon type of thing. It's the, how would you word this?
My way or the highway?
I don't want to say that. It's like he's got the final say in things. There we go.
Oh, you're talking about his say, that he has the final
his say. Because you can, like, give him ideas and stuff. And one thing is, he kind of brought me in, and I was kind of the Undertaker. Because, I mean, I came out with Kane's entrance and Sid Vicious's theme, which were, at first I was like, wait a minute, hold on, this isn't when I sent Marco. So that threw me off. And then he really made my gimmick kind of supernatural, like kind of like the Undertaker. And like the Fisk gimmick, even though it had Kane's entrance in ACW, it wasn't meant to be
it's not
a supernatural character. It's meant to be a badass. And
it's meant to be more Brock Lesnar than it is Undertaker.
Yeah, if you wanna word it that way. And it threw me off, but I've liked for the most part what Marco has done with my character after that whole ACW thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was weird, because he had me feuding with Sonny, and then I moved up to Mayhem, and I feuded with Morris's character, Mike McGregor, and I'm in a feud with his faction, which I've really enjoyed doing. And, you know, if YWF ever does come back, I look forward to continuing that feud. But, you know, YWF, it's a fun show. It's had some shows that I wasn't really a big fan of, like the last CyberSlam.
CyberSlam.
Oh. And, you know, everything that people say about YWF, like, oh, shows are too short, matches need to be longer. yada yada yada. Sometimes the editing and the storylines are too over the top. I'll agree with, but for the most part, it's a fun show to be a part of. Marco and Chronix are both really chill guys, really understanding. I almost fucked up big time once, and I'm glad they took me back, but I really don't want to get into that.
I know what you're talking.
Because that would really be opening up a
can of
wound
worms
that doesn't need to be, cut open again. Because that was me getting caught up in the moment, and it was awful. But meanwhile, Justin's last two shows were basically worth the reputation he has right now. Because IWA was a good concept, it was 3 different territories. And each one was booked by a different person. Justin had one show. I believe, I forgot who had, I think Jay may have had one.
Jay had one.
I don't remember who the second booker was. No, Jay was world champion one. Justin booked one show. And then I think Amir had one, and I had one. So we were each in charge of one territory. I don't remember who the third booker was. I think it was Amir.
Mm-hmm.
I don't quite remember. It was a cool idea. I made Kevin Cross my first world champ, which was great because this was before he won the COH title.
Mm-hmm.
I made him my first world champ, and then each show got an episode, and then the show died. And then SPW was a pile of shit. I decided to do a really awful gimmick, which I was Andrew Cyrus, which was Ministry Taker mixed with SES Punk.
Oh.
And I had a feud with Alex, who Justin somehow got in to that show as the Alex Enterprise. And SPW is just, it was, if I could describe it in one word, it would be lazy. Like, he wouldn't make people's cause. He'd download Samoa Joe for Levi. He'd download John Moxley for Stu. He'd download, Daniel Mars had some, really generic caw.
Adrian Neville, I think, wasn't it?
No, Adrian Neville was Mars in YWF.
Oh, okay.
In the beginning. And then they changed it up. But there were a lot of, real generic ones. But that was also the first show that got, Stefan Guerrero and David Rivera and Mark Kennedy. They all came from there, so I guess that's one good thing.
Some good thing, though.
The show was lazy. His Rumble show was fucking atrocious. He forgot to commentate the Rumble match, which a certain Phoenix also did with his show recently, but, at least he didn't do what fucking Justin did, because he decided to do something where, every single match was simulated.
Mm-hmm.
But he would just go with the results. This would lead to such things as Garnet Court going on an undefeated streak, which lasted his entire fucking run there. And there was one part, I remember this, because Justin brought in someone who I had never heard of the guy, but he was billed as a Scottish submission specialist or something.
Right.
And in the first match, he loses to Court by tapping out to a bear hug.
Are you not sports entertained?
No, I'm not sports entertained. The internet sports entertainment community was not a fan of that. I think. So he had this one guy who he just brought in, and probably had no intentions of winning the world title. He won the damn match, so we had to push him, and then the show died right after that because everyone was like, this show's a fucking train wreck, and I assumed he just stopped because I haven't heard from him since, and he was always a good friend of mine.
Wait, that's what I was going to ask. Ever since the, shall we say, demise of SPW, where has Justin Collins gone? Because ever since then, I haven't seen anything of him. I haven't heard from him, and I maybe talked to Justin Collins a handful of times, and so I doubt he even would remember the conversation, because
I remember Wonder and Big Dwayne were in ACW, but it was weird because Wonder was a face, and Big Dwayne was teaming with the Extreme.
Oh, yeah. That did happen. So maybe I did talk to him a couple more times than I thought. I tried to help him out, but I gave him some guys.
As for where he's been, I honestly have no fucking clue. I know for a while he was doing his music thing, because I'd always get invitations to his his band's Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I haven't heard from him in probably about a year now. And there's still some resentment in me because...
In you.
No, like, I have some resentment towards him.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, that's what I kind of worded it wrong, because I brought him in near the end of my first season, and he was going to win my Rumble match and win the title in the main event. It was always the plan for him to lose after getting cashed in on with the Money in the Bank. That was always the plan. And I'd write him out from there. But I had approached him because at the time, SPW was going strong, and I thought he'd be back full time. And I was like, do you want to bring in Shambo again for another season? And he was like, sure. And I thought he was actually going to put the work in. But then he flat out fucking leaves again and leaves the goddamn group page. So it's like, shit, now I got to write you out.
Yeah.
However, I think that's also a blessing in disguise because that led to me turning Shambo heel, which I think I'm the first show to ever do that right because I made that character fucking great.
Bobby.
Oh my god, I made it wonderful because he'd try to turn himself heel like multiple times, but he'd always fuck it up because he'd change his name and his finisher and all this shit. Every single time he tried to do it.
In ECF or in general?
No, in his shows.
In his shows.
Like I remember he did it in SPW, he did it in ACW. And it never really felt right. I do it, and he's not even voicing the character. And I make him into this hated son of a bitch that gives Canadian destroyers to 8-year-old boys.
What's not to love about that? Okay.
So, I mean, I had to write him out, and because it takes me a goddamn year to get a show out, it took a lot longer than I thought, but, yeah, now, Dawn of the Champions, I think, was probably going to be the last you'll ever see of Justin Collins again, but he was always a good friend. There was another guy from ACW named Marco Gruber who was really freaking good, and we got along really well. He was in my show for a bit, and if he ever comes back to CAW, like I definitely bring him back into my show because I liked his promo style, and that was just another fond memory from ACW. It wasn't fond though, the fact that I was in a stable with Peter fucking Gilmore.
That sounds terrible.
It was not that good.
No.
No one wants that.
No.
He'll ban us for 30 days, so we can't say this stuff.
Well, be careful. He might go send his dislike crew. And let me steer this back to me because you took it upon yourself to just tell the Wikipedia entry of ACW and YWF and whatnot.
Well, we haven't even gotten to COH yet.
I know. Now, see, I was going to interrupt to ask some questions, but I just let you roll. With, now I'm forgetting his name, Justin Collins. If, let's say, hypothetically, Justin Collins, he because 2015, a lot of people are returning, ICCW, ECW, and I'm sure others. Even SMF talked about this morning about if they should do that one night only show. But if Justin Collins decided he was coming back, and he came to you and was like, Andrew, look, I'm sorry with all that happened, but blah, blah, blah. I'd like to come back, whether it be for a run or whatever. Would you be open to that, or would you be against that?
I'd wait and see to make sure he's sticking around for a while, because with SPW, when he asked me to join, I originally said no.
Mm-hmm.
But he convinced me to do it, and then I ended up going in there, and it was just a bad idea. If he comes back and says, I want to join again, more than likely, I'll probably let him back in, but I'd wait a bit. Because if he's just going to be gone again after 2 months, I don't want to waste my time with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my answer.
Okay.
I'd wait and see. As for if he'd ever do another show, probably not. I'd probably just say no.
Okay.
Because I don't know, if it's anything like the last one, I don't want to be a part of that.
I find it funny when we first brought you into to the group that I deem the Beatdown Clan. But
The Breakfast Club.
the breakfast, yeah, maybe the dinner club. I like dinner. And plus I'm never up for breakfast. So I remember we would talk about Justin Collins and usually not have too many good things to say, and nothing about Justin as a person, but because of his call shows, and you'd be like, well, Justin is my friend, he's my best friend. And then a few months later, you're like, oh yeah, it sucks.
He's really too nice of a guy. Because he would basically let everyone do anything they wanted, and that would work out in some ways good, like with me or Stu or people like that. But with like the random people he'd bring in, he'd let them do all this weird shit, and it really affected the product. I remember because he brought in a assistant booking team for SPW.
Oh, jeez.
And this booking team was a disaster because it consisted of 4 different people with 4 different opinions. It was me, it was Sonny, it was Bence, and it was, oh, this is a fun one. This is a Maniac Mitch.
Oh, that sounds like the WWE creative team.
Yeah, it does. And every single group message between this would be Mitch. Kind of like, let's have an invasion with my show. Let's have an invasion with my show. And I'd politely try to tell him, no one wants to fucking see that. But I'd be like, I don't think that's a good idea. But he'd be like, no, my show come in. Oh. And,
He's Sonny now?
well, yeah, well, Sonny was pushing for weird people to win titles, like Jay Kong, because he's been in Kong for a while, and I think he needs a title. Oh. But,
Strange bunch to have on your creative team.
that was I don't like to think about SPW. It was just bleh.
And no offense to the guys who are on that creative team, but besides with the obvious things that are Justin's fault, with the simulations and the calls and whatnot that went wrong, with that creative team, again, not trying to offend you, but if I do, oh well, it's kind of a shitty booking team. So, especially at that time,
But the funny thing was, none of our ideas were used. Because we'd submit ideas to him and Justin would be like, yeah, we're going to do this. It's like, because the AI versus AI thing was his decision. All this shit was his decision. The randomly changing titles to different names about 5 fucking times was his decision. So it was the peanut gallery. If I would give it a more appropriate title. We didn't do no booking.
Now, in booking in general, what are your thoughts on a call creative team? And I think in the last couple of years, the idea of a creative team has, and I put quotations around that because there's no legitimate creative team. Like, we don't all go to an office and sit in these nice chairs, which would be really cool if someone did that, because I would go.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's what my creative team is like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We got them nice offices. I mean,
when
there was a great picture of the Breakfast Club at the ECF Christmas party that
that's true.
I have on my computer.
Are you talking about that creative team when you're on one side of the room and I'm on the complete other?
Yep.
But anyway, Call has warmed up to that idea. More shows have done it. I know I have my creative team that's changed a little bit in the last couple months. What are your thoughts on call shows having a creative team or a booking team?
I think if it's a flat-out team, it's a bad idea. Because it will lead to just a bunch of different opinions, and, there'll be too many ideas, and a lot of them won't get accepted, and the ones that get rejected, people will get upset with, yada yada. It just doesn't work. Now, maybe 1 to 3 people.
So 3 would be your
ideas. Like how you do it, or like how I do it, or even Travis, how he'll have people give him suggestions. That's fine. But a creative team, I'm not really a fan of.
So you're not a fan of a creative team. But you think you're in favor of a couple bookers.
Mhm.
And you think 3 would be a fair max.
And I'll give you another example. Adam, when he was starting his Show-Up, he brought in a team of bookers. I think it was me, Jay, AJ, and Steven, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
and just none of our ideas ended up being used. So half the time, you'll bring in this creative team, and it'll be fucking useless. So there's really no point of it.
Okay.
I mean, if you feel that you could make it work, go right ahead. That's not something I think I would ever do.
All right. Do you think it's I mean, I guess it really depends on the person, but do you think it's a good idea for someone, if they're going to have a call show, to have just themselves run the show, where they decide everything and they figure everything out, or to have some sort of a booker or consultant?
I think it could work either way.
You think it can work either way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, alright. I know me. Old school, I'd be like, it's whatever I thought, but I've changed, and if anyone has ever worked with me, I mean, you're usually solid on which ideas you want to go with, but me, I change my mind a lot.
Now, you know what I'd actually like to see? I'd like to see someone try up to make a collab show.
A collab show?
So, like,
what's that?
I don't know if I'm using the right term. Say you and me decided to make a side fed.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like a super fed. So it wouldn't be ECF or AWF. It would just be us two making a completely different show. I think that would be cool. But at the same time, that would really be the consultant thing.
Well, I mean, I think I see what your thought process with it is. Like, let's just say hypothetically if me and you did it, and it would just be kind of like, I guess, people from like our shows, and then maybe some other people, and then if other people, wouldn't that just be a smaller form of like All Stars?
In some way, yeah. But it would be a regular show, not just a one time a year thing.
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea.
I don't think anyone could. I'm wondering if anyone could make that work.
That's
just something that popped in my head.
It's been tried. Now, me, an old timer, I've seen it done from time to time, because whether it be 2009 or 2015, you or anyone else, everyone always has that idea to do that, because it's a cool idea to get together with a couple people and do a show like that, but they never work. And if someone could make it work, that'd be great. But it never works because, like, let's say, for example, it was me and you doing it. Well, you still have ECF. I still have AWF. My main thing is AWF. Your main thing is ECF. This is a side project to us. So we're putting our main focus on our own shows, and we're kind of pushing that off to the side. Mm-hmm. And we get to it if we get to it, and we don't. And the show ends up being bad for that aspect because we don't give it our all. And then we just don't have the time for it, and then it messes up with everything else. And usually what happens is it just destroys everything, or the show just gets pushed to the side and is a failure. So it's a cool idea. It just never worked. If someone could do it, awesome.
I mean, you mentioned side project. I remember about a month ago, I had this idea where I was going to do, in some way, some form of a second cause show. Mm-hmm. But now, because I don't think I'm going to have time for it, I'm either scrapping the idea or indefinitely postponing it. Because I had some stuff booked, and I had a roster figured out, but I'm like, I won't have time for this. So for now, it's been put to the side. Postponed indefinitely.
Which you were
going to be like Detox.
You only told Adam.
True.
Which I flabbergasted by. Whatever. So all that with ACW and all that kinds of junk, and I'm not calling ACW junk, by the way, but from there, was it that you went to COH, or was there something in between? Not counting ECF.
I got the message from Travis to join COH when I was just in YWF.
So you
It
were
was
just in
in
YWF.
October of 2013, I get a message from Travis, I think, saying, I think either it's time for Fisk to come to COH, or if Fisk ever wants to come to COH, I have a plan for him. And of course, I was really ecstatic because, in a way, I'm still kind of like this. But especially 2-3 years ago, I absolutely refused to ask people to join their shows because I was afraid they'd say no. And I was
I'm so shocked.
I was overwhelmed by the fact of asking someone to be in a show. And even now with my show, I still feel rather uncomfortable asking people if they want to be a part of my show, which is why I've been lucky that a lot of the people that are in my show asked me, so I didn't have to do the talking.
Again, the worst thing they can say is no.
True. But like YWF asked me, COH asked me, AWF I believe asked me as well.
I did. Yes, that's
so
correct.
Travis messaged me, and I'm like, cool, what are your plans? And I knew that I was going to be in the Enterprise from the get-go.
Yes.
Because he said, you're going to be the fourth member of the Accurate Enterprise. And I'm like, this sounds fucking awesome. I debut in I believe, New Year's Day of January 14.
Don't ask me, I don't remember shit.
The first episode of Slam, I debut, went undefeated for the entire year, and it's definitely been the best time I've had in any Coffed, because it's really, I think it's Fisk done perfectly. It's the best representation I've had of that character. And the funny part is, originally, I wasn't going to be Fisk. Because Travis wanted me as Fisk, but at the time, because of some things that happened with YWF, and because of the fact that I was just getting kind of sick of the gimmick, I didn't want to do the Fisk gimmick anymore. But Travis convinced me, so I did it, and I was going to be, I was always supposed to be the Punisher, but I think I was going to be the Punisher Andrew Brooks. But I decided to be Fisk instead, and the rest is history.
Martin. Huh. You definitely made the right decision to be Fisk.
Mm-hmm.
Because
a lot of the staples for that gimmick originated in COH. The Punisher name was something I made just for COH. The theme song, COH. The Dark Void, COH. It's just... And originally I was trying something new. Because in a lot of my earlier promos, I was... I may have used a deeper sounding voice, but I think I scrapped that after the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did was, I would cut my promos by my light switch. And then after the end, I'd always be like, okay, let the punishing begin, and then I'd turn the light out. But I stopped doing that after a while, because I'm like, okay, no, this isn't necessary. And I just made it into what I was doing first, but better. And I turned into just a dominant heel monster, and I loved every minute of it.
Alright, now, let's talk about the early goings of Fisk and COH, because obviously, yes, you said it was the plan that you were eventually going to join the Accurate Enterprise, but obviously, with making your debut, you weren't in the Accurate Enterprise first because there's a plan. We have to get there. So you started off on Slam. You were one of the original Slam guys alongside Nitro and alongside Rucker, alongside eventually Stefan Guerrero, and then there was a bunch of other piles of shit on that show as well.
You know, Shart's 18 gimmicks.
Mm-hmm. The Forgotten Heart.
Yeah, but with Fisk joining the Enterprise, I didn't think it was going to take that long, because Travis built that son of a bitch for 3 fucking CPVs. And I thought, okay, when am I going to join? Because there was a time where I was like, am I still going to be in the group?
And I don't know what you think about it, but with you joining the Accurate Enterprise, it was the right thing to wait, because if you were to join... Because I know, at least for me, I didn't know who you were... At least I didn't know who Fisk was until you were in COH.
Mm-hmm.
And Travis, I hope I don't offend you, but when Slam first came out, I really didn't watch it because there were some bad people on Slam. So I was like, either I didn't watch it or I just skipped through it to know who won the matches. And it changed over time. Like, I watch it now. Obviously, because I'm on Slam. The A show. But then I started to hear about specifically you and Nitro. You guys, at least
The bros.
at least in my opinion, you guys were the mainstays of that show. Yeah, there was, and that's not to take away from guys like Rucker and Guerrero and whatnot, but in my opinion, you guys were the top two guys to come out of that show and top two people to look out for on that show. It gave me a reason to watch the show, and I looked and I watched it, and I was like, huh, this Nitro guy, he's pretty good. This Fisk guy, he's pretty good. And I'm like, what are they doing with these piles of shit from Slam? But it was good because it built it up. It built your character up. If you were to just came on and just joined the Actor Enterprise, people like me, it wouldn't have felt right, and it would have been like, why is this guy here? Who is this guy? Yeah, he kind of looks like he should be in there, but I don't know who he is. And it built it up, and you built a following for yourself, because even though you were a heel among the COH universe, the COH community, you developed quite a bit of a following. You got pretty popular.
Those smarks cheering the heels, booing the faces.
Well, they were cheering for Nitro.
Sure. But yeah, just my early parts on Slam, obviously I had the undefeated streak. And then I moved into the Pride title tournament. And from then on, I was like, is Travis really going to put the belt on me this fast? Because I had a feeling I'm not losing this tournament. And from there, I started my feud with Nitro. And that's still probably one of my favorite feuds I've had in COH, if not my favorite. Because we had some great promos together. I think we made the story work for what it was. And the match I had with Nitro, with Amir as the guest ref at Guerrilla Warfare, is my favorite match the Fisk character has been in COH.
It was a very good match and a very good story. I remember watching that match. It was really, really good. And I know a lot of people would have been okay either way, whether you won or Nitro won. I was a little bit more on your side to win, but I think it was the right call. Obviously, for what ended up happening, you had to win.
And even though I was this dominant monster, and Nitro and me were really polar opposites, and I was a complete heel, I made it from, I would say, Nitro gained my respect, and he'd say likewise, and it kind of led to this thing where, we have that mutual respect. It took something that I was doing with Morrissey Love in IWA, because he beat me for a title match, and then from then on in any show, we'd have this mutual respect type of thing that we unintentionally did, and I started doing it with Nitro. And, it's not over, folks. Remember, Fisk and Nitro are buds backstage, so things can happen.
You never know. Maybe.
You never know. Down the line, we could cross paths yet again. But from then on, I really start, because after I won the tournament, I moved to Battleground. And you have me interfere and cost Team Esper the tag titles. And I remember watching the ending like, oh shit is going down. And then it, of course, led to those titles changing hands about 50 bajillion times in the next 3 episodes.
They ended up on the right guys, though.
You say that, I mean, you lost to Inactivity.
So. That was the fat guy's fault, alright?
I remember I got my title shot on an episode of Battleground. And it was against Amir, and at the time, Amir was doing his thing where he wasn't doing shit, and everyone wanted him to lose the title, and it led to him turning heel, but it also eventually led to him getting released from COH.
You weren't supposed to be the face, but you were
I wasn't, and I did Travis put in cheers for me at Ready to Rumble. But I remember that match, and I remember Rockstone coming out, and the Battleground after that, I don't know if you remember this, but I cut a promo on Rockstone, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs.
I do remember that.
I was legitimately angry. That was not fake. I was pissed. Because I was like, fuck, did my streak just end this way? Because at the time I thought that's what Travis was going to do, but obviously he didn't. And I was like, am I not going to win the belt? But then the Chamber happened, and I won, and I joined the Enterprise, and I was like, woo, this is awesome.
No.
And I think it's funny looking back that I was so angry at Rockstone because he was inactive at that time too. And then now it's like he just turned like sweet. Because I always liked Rockstone. It's just, I wish he did more before he left.
Yeah. Now, one thing I do remember, and I'm pretty sure you probably do as well, for that Ready to Rumble title match, the show went up about 5 in the morning, which it's not a strange thing to see me or you or Adam or Jay. It's a strange thing to see AJ up that early, but to see us up. Okay, it's strange for Jay because Jay usually goes to bed, but it's usually not a strange sight to see us up that early.
We watched that entire goddamn thing live.
We did, because we did not know who was going to win that match.
Yeah, we were petrified that Sonny was going to win that match. And because this was when Sonny was really getting his start of his big push. And we're like, we swear to God, Sonny, you're a cool guy. You're my friend, and you know that.
It wasn't the time for that.
But if you won that match and you took that moment from me, I would have been legitimately pissed. Because it's like, you're taking Khan too seriously. It wouldn't have made no sense if you won that match. And I remember, because he came out with the One Lester Nation shirt, and I'm like, oh my fucking God.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, he changed his look, like, I think the show after that.
Yeah.
Which I helped make that call, by the way. So,
I remember that story.
COH audience. I remember it was originally supposed to be this weird black and white demon-looking thing. That was awful.
I also remember too. He went and asked you if you could make it so you could upload it for Travis, and you said yeah. And then later you were telling me, oh, I didn't. And then I went to Sonny to talk to Sonny about it, and I went and got mad at him, and then I went and talked to Jay, and then Jay sent me screenshots that Sonny sent, which showed that you did say that you would. And I was like, you make it.
But I mean, I remember he was the first person eliminated, and we all just had a unanimous sigh of relief. Like, oh, thank God.
A lot of us were maybe a little bit biased, but we were very happy to see Fisk get that win.
I won that match. And then I remember we were watching the Honor Rumble. And I think we all had a feeling that it was either going to be Patriot or Zayn that won that match.
Yeah.
The
general feeling was Zayn, but we could have seen Patriot winning it as well.
And I remember near the end, because I think Travis must have fucked up and accidentally had control of Nathan Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
And this was when it was all but confirmed that he was gone.
Yeah.
And I remember he was eliminating people and hitting people with moves. I'm like, I swear to God, if Travis makes Nathan Roberts win this match, I'm going to, be really freaking confused.
It got scary.
But yeah, I was getting rather nervous.
Steve Slasher was in the final too.
Yeah, Steve Slasher was in the final too. Either Travis fucked that up or I don't know, he just meant that for that to happen to swerve the viewers.
Swerve.
It should have been Cross and Zayn, and I think that's what Travis wanted. But Slasher came back and he was Biker Taker, and then he left a show later. So
yeah,
whatever. I don't know. But that was a really fond memory, just watching that show back in the early hours of the morning.
Yeah, and then we went to bed, which was just wonderful because we were tired. Now, one thing in just general that's something that Fisk does from the early going, and to this day, is the way you do your promos, which I often love to make fun of you for because it's fun. Whereas like normal people, like myself, do our promos where we stand in front of the camera or sit in front of the camera and we talk to the camera. You will turn yourself around and you will have your back to the camera and you will be like screaming at the wall as the camera is showing your back as you got some kind of hoodie on. When did this start?
Well, we're going to have to find out the origins of how the Fiskin bastard himself does his promos with his face to the wall and his back to the camera. On part 2 of the Shawn Walsh Show with Fisk, aka Andrew, we'll find out all that and so much more. On part 2, we will talk about more of COH and his feud with the Great D. We will talk about his career in the AWF. We will talk more about ECF, of course. We will talk about some of the fan-submitted questions that you guys had included in your questions in regards to the relationship, quote-unquote, of myself and Mr. Well, I'll just say Fisk. I was going to say his last name, but I'm not going to put that out there, although most of you probably already know what it is. But it's interesting. He has a story for it as well. So prepare yourselves for that. It's a something. I'll just say that. It's a something. So you can look forward to that for part 2. Also for part 2, you can look forward to me and Jay Crack talking more about Brent Harvinator, specifically addressing his comment that he had to say in the comment section of the last Shawn Walsh show with D-Wall. Me and Jay dominate a little bit. We address what he had to say. We respond to that response. We have a little bit more to say in regards to some of the other allegations thrown Brent's way, courtesy of the Shawn Walsh Show. So you can look forward to that. I know I gave you guys a little, a bit of a little preview earlier on with that rant, shall we say. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It got me a little riled up. I just calmed myself down now. So, I hope you guys enjoy that and enjoy what me and Jay have to bring. Before I sign off for this episode of the Shawn Walsh Show, I gotta talk about a few more things because I forgot to address that in the beginning of the episode because I got carried away. First of all, I'm going to take 1 minute to address this because I've seen there's someone on Ask FM, and I know there's going to be people like, oh, why do you even address this? I don't care. Who's all like, oh my god, it's so obvious the egotistical bastards are going to win the global tag team titles because we apparently, we tried to get within the good with Travis, and we used the show. That apparently the Shawn Walsh Show is the reason why we are going to win, and apparently we're so bad and we don't deserve it. And you put it all over all of my friends' Ask accounts, and all of them have said either how ridiculous you sound, or the fact that us winning the tag team titles is appropriate. Now, am I going to win the tag team titles? I don't know. You have to tune in Tag Team Warfare. Maybe we will. Maybe Future Flight will, which is Scott's prediction. Maybe we will see Dude Pride do it. Maybe Raging Redneck, the Redneck Nation, maybe he'll do it. Amazing Patriots. There's so many tag teams in Tag Team Warfare. Who knows who's going to win? Could the egotistical bastards win? We could. Do we deserve to win if we do? Absolutely. We absolutely deserve it. Many people have considered us the best tag team in COH for a long, long time. Not just because of the 11 Tag Team Championship reigns that we have, 2 of which are from COH, but because of our work together and what we have done as a tag team, especially in recent times, some of our promos being very heavily praised. So, again, why don't we? Because you don't like my show. And I'm sorry, but this show is not meant to get the egotistical bastards over in COH or anywhere for that matter. This show is for me to bring on people so we can go call wrestling, so people can see different elements of call, so we can address certain situations, so I can address certain situations and speak my opinion on things. And if my goal is to use this as a platform to get a push, I've been doing a very bad job at it, because I have on more than one occasion said negative things about COH and have not kissed up to Travis. So I don't understand how that works. That's just maybe another example of someone not liking me. That's okay. There's people who don't like me. That's fine. Just, if you're expecting to get some kind of different response from my friends on Ask FM, you're wasting your time and everyone else's time. But I hope you guys do tune in to Tag Team Warfare on Slam to see who walks out with the tag team titles. It's going to be one hell of a tournament. I love Tag Team Warfare. I don't know if you guys could figure that out. Also, episode 20 was originally supposed to be the Shawn Walsh show with me as the guest. But obviously, due to the very long part, that we're going to have part 2 with my Andy Pandy, Fisk. We talk a little bit more in regards to why I said that in part 2. We talk more about all that stuff like I told you guys about. So, episode 21 is going to be the Shawn Walsh show with Shawn Walsh. But then you guys just know, am I going to ask myself all the questions? That's not what's going to happen, because I'm going to have someone fill in for host. So, who is that going to be? I left that up to you guys to vote as to see who you think should be the host of the Shawn Walsh show. And the results are in. I just checked again just to make sure, and the results have remained the same. And the host of the Shawn Walsh show will be, in fact, the Call All-Stars champion, the man who's going to host the Young's Theory edition of the Shawn Walsh show, that being AJ Young. Very good friend of mine, by the way, a long-time friend who knows a lot about me, so I think that's rather appropriate. Unfortunately, Adam Jackpot will not be brought back for this episode, maybe in the future to host, because I very much enjoyed his episode with Rap Metal. But for that, AJ Young will be the host. So if you have any questions about me, you want to ask me questions, go send them to AJ Young's Ask FM. And it's going to be one fun episode, that's for sure. And especially in these events of the last week or so, ooh, man, I'm going to get to say so many things and talk about so many different stuff. It's going to be fun. Sit around the campfire, go listen to the Shawn Walsh show, whatever you like to do. But that's enough of me talking right now. I already told you, filled you all in with all the information. I will see you guys probably about tomorrow with my my intro with Jay and part 2 with Andrew. And then on to next week with the season 1 finale of the Shawn Walsh show. Oh, man. And I can't wait till next week and tell you guys more about season 2. Ooh, I'm just getting excited talking about it. But that's all you're going to get. Just the excitement, to know it's exciting. I'm not going to give you guys any more of a tease. So, thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys tomorrow and next week.